Well, in the second round here at Wimbledon 2021, we've seen some very classic Wimbledon scenes with Murray Mania taking full flight again on center court. Federer is back. He looks like 2019, fed at least a little bit of his match today versus Gasquet. And Novak Djokovic is absolutely rolling, playing some of the cleanest tennis possible, humanly possible on earth probably. So we're going to take a look at the big matches that happened in round two in today's round two wrap-up presented by our friends at Rally Tennis. We're going to get into some of the best matchups for round three, what's going on, what are some of the themes in the tournament. Nick Curious is back doing curious things. So it's all good in the hood. Welcome to Wimbledon 2021 coverage back in our studio. Let's get into it. So yeah, just some absolutely epic scenes over the last 2 days in round two, sending the Brits into a frenzy, I think. Like just me from Canada watching Andy Murray do his thing on center court was like emotionally draining. I don't know how you guys as a country do it. Every time he wins a point, it's like ecstasy. Every time he loses, it's like he's freaking out and cussing. It's amazing. And it's vintage Murray. So that's good to see. That's always good to see. The slice is presented by Rally Tennis at the Wimbledon 2021 Championships. Rally is a new tennis app where you can find local leagues to play in, so you can compete with players at your level and then compete in playoffs to dominate your local tennis scene and get pride that way. You can also, there's a lot of other things on there like perks like discounts of equipment at Tennis Warehouse, and right now they are preparing for another giveaway with Tennis Warehouse. They just finished one up where they give away rackets and bags, so follow them on social media, download the app, the link is below, and shout out to Rally Tennis for supporting us during the Wimbledon coverage. So yeah, Murray was, watching him is a emotional roller coaster, as I said, and one of the craziest things to me was that, in his comeback, it's always been like, can he find that level again? And it's really cool that he's done that, or he seemed to do that the most so far here at Wimbledon. He beat Basilashvili like we talked about in the last video, but I didn't talk about it a lot. And then he just beat Ate, the German, who's playing very well in 5 sets, and he had to come back from 2 sets to 1 down. So after he got down 2 sets to 1, we're all thinking, what's going on? He's wearing that Castori outfit, which is pretty good, except Castori's a sweet brand, except I feel like that outfit looks like he's almost wearing like a cotton vest. So it looks like he would just be roasting out there. And he just, in classic Murray fashion, just like battened down the hatches and just fought for every point, finding his form again, finding a little bit better serving, and just absolutely like getting the crowd stoked. There's a certain section in the crowd who's like, I guess, pumping him up. So he would be like, he'd win a point and be like, yeah, that's right. Let's effing go. Get up. And then he'd lose a point, and then it would just be like, he'd be like hitting himself and like cussing out his box. So it's just like absolute emotional roller coaster. Like, I want to know, Brits, if you're watching this show, like, what is it like supporting Andy Murray over the years, especially at Wimbledon? It's just got to be an intense time. It's like maybe that's why you guys are in the pub doing that, because it's just you need a beer to be able to cope with the highs and the lows. But anyways, lots of highs right now in Team Murray because he won again. He's in the third round, and he'll be facing Canadian Denis Shapovalov, which is going to be a massive test for him. Andy Murray's the betting underdog by 3-1, 3.5 times your money as the underdog. Do you agree with that? I think I agree with that now. Denis Shapovalov is the younger, much more springy player right now with big weapons, and he likes grass. So I'm kind of hoping, selfishly, back fan mode activated, I'm hoping that either the winner of Shapovalov versus Murray makes it to the semifinal so that they can play Djokovic, because that would just be an epic match either way. Shapovalov, I think, would have it, as far as anyone in that half of the draw, would have a pretty, as much of a chance as anyone would. And then Murray versus Djokovic would obviously just be a classic again. And by that time, if Murray's got that much momentum, make it to the semifinals, I think anything can happen. That would be obviously a massive test for him. The biggest test in tennis at the moment. But you never know. I don't know. Never underestimate the spirit of a fighting Brit, as they say. I'm British, so, British Canadian, I appreciate that. And I love seeing Murray back on court doing his thing. Roger Federer, the big dog, finally starts rolling. So obviously we all know his comeback story. He's been playing not great against Mannarino. He was not playing good at all. Started to find it a bit, even though he was losing down 2 sets to 1. Then Mannarino gets injured, has to pull out. So he's kind of lucky there. Comes out against Gasquet in the first set and plays basically the exact same way. Just not really moving confidently, not taking good cuts at the ball. Was just kind of floating. Didn't really have a classic Federer game style there. Then they got to a tiebreak in the first set, and we saw like 2019 Fed come out of the closet, I think. So that was awesome to see. He served well. He was hitting forehand winners. He was getting down to the forehand and hitting through it aggressively. That was just all good signs from Club Fed. So in the second and third sets, Fed just started to roll, and we just saw a lot more vintage tennis for him, where he's just coming forward, he's hitting through super aggressively on his forehand when there's a short ball, and he's using his slice really effectively to get into the right, because Gasquet is an amazing backhand. There was actually one point, Federer talked about it after the match, where Federer hit an overhand smash, and Gasquet just ripped the hardest backhand that's been hit at Wimbledon in a long time probably, and it literally landed right on the line. It was just the most amazing winner. And then the next point, Federer came up and hit a sick backhand himself, and he said after that point he kind of got psyched up and just, I don't know, that was amazing. From then on, Fed was in kind of like old school Federer mode. Not quite as good still, but still it looked a lot more closer to 2019 than it did to earlier in 2021. By far the best match of the year for him, but he was playing Gasquet, who was playing pretty good, but it's not, he's not a top player, so that's going to be different, going forward. But I think this was a good rhythm match for Federer. His performance, he got 10 aces, 65% of first serves in, and 84% of those points won on when he got his first serve in. So I'd say that's like a B+ serving performance. Can definitely be better. Did the job today. 50 winners, 26 unforced errors. That's a good sign for Federer match. If he has a lot of winners and he can have a high amount of unforced errors, that's just his game. He's always going to do that. That's a good sign. So that's his best match of the year, and that sets him up well. Now he's playing Cam Norrie next, which is going to be interesting. The Brits, Cam Norrie. The Brits also love Roger Federer, so Fed joked after the match. He's like, yeah, Norrie's had a good year so far. He's been playing super well, super happy for him, but now it's time for him to go. So love a little bit of trash talk in there as a joke, obviously. And Nole fam, Djokovic is absolutely rolling as well. Amazingly clean match versus Anderson. I thought Anderson could be tricky. Didn't really look like he had the actual guts there or the game on the day to really challenge Djokovic, because Djokovic was playing amazing. Only officially 6 unforced errors. Scary in the whole match. So yeah, now with Djokovic rolling this cleanly, playing this well, his chances to get through super deep are obviously amazing, as they already were. The draws opened up very favorably for him. Like, the top wasn't looking that tough anyways. So he's got Denis Kudla next, and then either Garin or Martinez, two mainly clay court players in the fourth round, to then possibly play Rublev if Rublev doesn't lose to Fognini or Schwartzman or something like that. So Djokovic, favorable part of the draw now. People are going to say, "Ooh, you're hating." It's like, no, that's just facts. I'm sorry. He's going to be smooth sailing on the top for the next few rounds, definitely. We got Nick Kyrgios back on Wimbledon, which is amazing to see. He's vibing. He's doing Nick Kyrgios things. Beats a very in-form Hugo Humbert. And then Galán today. He's been complaining about how slow the grass is, and that's been a theme for a few years now. That's obviously been a lot slower than it used to. But it was funny. He's kind of like talking to the crowd, like the camera, but he's like, grass, the ball's supposed to skid. Right now it bites and pops up. It's not supposed to do that, which is kind of funny. Nick Kyrgios is just good for tennis. That's facts as well. He asked, he did this classic thing where he asks a fan where he should serve. So that's just good to see. About the grass court being slow, yes, it's clearly slow, and it's been getting slower for a number of years now. People like Djokovic fans, if I bring that up, they're gonna jump on that, being like, no, this has nothing to do with Djokovic. It's just facts that Wimbledon is no longer the fastest court on the tour. I heard Fed last year say Cincinnati was faster, and I've heard a lot of players like Kyrgios before said it last year or in 2019 and this year. So it's just interesting. It's weird how the ball's slower, but it seems to be slipperier this year. Maybe because it's slippery, it's more lush, so that means the ball slower as well. Who knows? So it's interesting, but a lot of players are continuing to slip, as we talked about in the last episode. Some other matches that happened. Felix Auger-Aliassime beat Michael Ymer, which is a great win for him. Those two kids are awesome. So Felix into the third round, and there's some good matchups in the third round. We got Fognini versus Rublev, Evans versus Korda. That's going to be awesome. Shapovalov versus Morey. That's big time. Kyrgios versus Felix Auger-Aliassime. Are you kidding me? That's going to be amazing. I love the Canadians. Bianca Andreescu unfortunately went out. That was tough to see, but Felix and Dennis both having good. I'm counting on one or two of them to be in the fourth round. I would be disappointed in our boys if both of them lost, because I think both of those are winnable matches for them. Federer versus Norrie, that's going to be awesome. Obviously, Norrie's playing well. Left-hander versus Fed, who's now playing well, it looks like. We'll see, though. And then Medvedev versus Cilic. Daniil Medvedev, I think, could be sneaky dangerous. like from what I've seen, like he's the number 2 seed rightfully. Like he's always played well on fast courts that bounce low, and with his shots that really helps him. This is obviously, and he looks like he moves really well on the grass. So he got over his clay yips at the French Open, and we had, back 2019 Wimbledon, he wasn't the player he is now. So it makes sense that he's the number 2 player in the world. And honestly, on the bottom half, I would say he's my favorite to get to the final to probably play Djokovic. So that would be super, super interesting. So anyways, what are your thoughts on the first 2 rounds so far? The third round's going to be awesome. It's only going to get better from here, folks. Loved seeing the classic Murray scenes on center court. Loved seeing Fed playing good again. Loved watching Djokovic just play like a robot, playing absolutely amazing tennis. What are you guys' thoughts going forward? Leave them all down in the comment section below. And check out the slicetennis.com, where we have our official Wimbledon score tracker and all of our posts, social media, videos, articles on there at the same place on the website. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Thanks for being here and supporting us. Thanks to Rally Tennis for presenting the slice. Now you've been sliced. You know what's going on. Thanks, folks. We'll see you next time here on the channel.